Hello learners, in the earlier video we are introduced to the concept of Sole effects doctrine. In this video we will be looking at some of the decided cases, the Iran-US Claims Tribunal cases that have applied the Sole effects doctrine. So the very first case, we can see that the Ratio and Starrett housing case where the tribunal, Iran-US Claims Tribunal stated that the deprivation of the property can amount when there is an effect of a governmental measure that deprives the use of a property, then when the value of the investment is rendered worthless, then it can be said to be expropriation. Even in the Hazra engineering case, a similar approach was taken by the tribunal, where in this case the tribunal stated that there can be taking of the property even without a direct nationalization or expropriation, but when the government has unreasonably interfered with the use of the investment. Now in this case, Hazra engineering case, the tribunal went ahead and stated that it need not talk about what is this unreasonable interference to sort of talk about the threshold for unreasonable interference, but on the facts of the case we can see that the tribunal has stated that the claimant did not prove there was unreasonable interference from the government. This particular part of Hazra engineering case was frequently cited in other Iran-US Claims Tribunal case as well, and the tribunal also followed the same approach, wherein the tribunal sort of questioned that whether there is unreasonable interference by the state in order to decide the question of expropriation. Now here what we see is in the subsequent cases when unreasonable interference is given due weightage also, none of these cases spelled out what amounts to unreasonable interference. Now another important decision that came from Iran-US Claims Tribunal is the Sealand Incorporated versus Iran case. In this case, the tribunal stated that it's not just unreasonable interference, but the measure should be a deliberate governmental interference. What do we mean by deliberate governmental interference? In this case, what had happened was the tribunal said that there can be a deprivation or taking under international law, that is expropriation, provided there is a deliberate governmental interference which has affected the conduct of Sealand's operation with the result that there is an adverse effect on Sealand to enjoy the economic benefits of its investment. So here on the facts of the case, there was a widespread indiscriminate deterioration of the functioning of the port. So the tribunal stated that there is no deliberate governmental interference and therefore we cannot find that this is amounted to expropriation. Right. So the last case that I want to discuss in this context is Tippett's case. I am deliberately discussing this case at the end because this is the most often cited case for Sole effect doctrine. You read any literature on Sole effect doctrine, there will always be a mention of Tippett's case. In Tippett's case, what had happened was the tribunal went ahead and stated that there can be governmental unreasonable governmental interference with the use of the property and that may amount to expropriation even without affecting the formal legal title to the investment, right? So here also they said that even without taking away formally, there could be deprivation that can be considered as expropriation. It is not this aspect, but the other aspect wherein the tribunal went ahead and stated that the intent of the government is less important or less significant than the effect of the measure on the investment. So this part of the award is often cited. That is why the Tippett's case is now very often discussed in the context of Sole effect doctrine. So what is the part where the tribunal stated this was, they said that the intent of the government while enacting the measure is less significant or less important than the effect of the measure on the investment, and they further went ahead and stated that the form of the measure or form of the control or form of the interference by the government is less important than the reality of their impact. So these two lines are something that are very often attributed to say that the Soul effect doctrine was very beautifully encapsulated in these lines. So that is where the soul effect discussion on soul effect doctrine is incomplete without giving a reference to Tippett's case. So we can see that the Tippett's case has sort of gave the summary of what soul effect doctrine approaches. So here what we see is there is too much emphasis given on the effect of the regulatory measure on the foreign investment and the purpose behind enacting that measure, or what the measure achieves, even if it is for beneficial to the whole society at large. So those all factors take a back seat. So in the next video, we will be looking at the level of interference that is required under the soul effects doctrine.